And the color of the roof's gonna be what?
Well, it's a galvanized metal, what you're gonna see. It's gonna have a cement board, you know, for the fascia and soffit. It's gonna be painted to the color their unit is now to match.
Yeah,
This
that
is-
was my question.
And this is all the materials, this right here?
Mm-hmm.
Is this two separate structures?
Yes,
Oh, so the two buildings getting metal roofs?
yeah. I went and looked at it. One, just looking at the buildings face on, one of them is the extreme end building. And the other one, I think, is the second or third one in from the other one, something like that.
Should be two separate permits.
Is this one individual or two?
Well, there's two different buildings there, 177 and 174.
Okay.
Do you own both of them?
No, I'm just,
They're
I'm
not-
the son of the contractor that's gonna be working on it. Of course, I'll be working on it with him, but I'm representing Mr. Weir.
And who owns the other structure then?
I'm sorry?
Who owns the other structure?
The same people own
Same
both
owners.
units.
Yeah,
Okay.
same, okay.
You know, that cement board looks like, it's got a wood grain finish on it. Looks like wood once it's
Yeah.
painted.
It's hardboard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had to rebuild my house in it. Well, I moved we accepted it shown. I have no problem.
Don't get a roof pretty soon, it's gonna have a big hole through the whole thing.
We have a motion on the board.
Question before a
Yes.
second. Overhang, according to this, there's no setback or anything for an overhang.
Okay.
So that's, is that correct? Do I agree? Okay, then I second.
Okay, we have a motion to second.
I say no.
We have a motion and a second.
I was still just digesting his question.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Permit is granted. You can pick up this permit upon it down there,
Okay, appreciate it.
up at the front office.
All right.
Sure.
I requested, you know, the information from him yesterday for the easement, and so we know what we could do with the overhang and everything, and I guess I'll have that there too.
There is, according to this, there's no,
There's no, in unit one,
there's no easement overhang.
No setback.
No setback, so there's no problem.
No setback?
So as you have it designed, it should be okay.
it's
Okay.
fine.
All right, I appreciate it.
Am I right?
Let's see, wait just
Yes,
a second then.
what?
If there's 0 lot lines and he's building up higher and putting a overhang roof, is it not gonna drain into the neighbor's, on the neighbor's house or into the neighbor's yard?
Neighbor.
The one, if I may, the 177 overhang will overhang into the parking lot area.
Okay.
And 174, he's got a walkway between his house and I would say the next neighbor's property.
Okay,
So he'd be overhanging on his own property.
okay.
That's the way I saw it when I looked at it.
Yeah, it, you know, plus there's a concrete wall in between them there too, you
Yeah,
know.
and he's on, you know, at least 5 feet or more inside that concrete wall, which I would assume is the property.
Okay, in other words, the structure's not on the property line.
No,
Okay. Good.
not on one side, the other side's built into the other house. You can't stop that.
Unit one's hard to
Yeah.
decipher.
Yeah.
When you get your permit, please post it, so, maybe one of us ugly people on this committee
Yeah.
don't come by and say something to you.
Yeah, we'll get it where everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times people fail to put those out and they need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody will stop and say something and
Yeah.
just put it up there.
Well, I know there's pretty concerned people sometimes, you know, you can pick up a paintbrush when they look at you like, what are you gonna do?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We already approved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
a good day.
You too.
Okay, next application. Is Dela Garza Fernandez, Unit 27, Block O, Lots 4 and 5. Cover over existing concrete. I think we sent this back last week for table it for
Information.
materials list, informational colors and materials.
This apparently is it right here.
Looks like it's gonna use OS board, felt, black paper, treated lumber.
Yep.
Shingles gonna be the same color as the house, which is, I guess, green or gray. What's y'all's pleasures, ladies and gentlemen?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is second. Any further discussion? Yes.
To me, Mr. Chairman, it still doesn't indicate what type of timbers is gonna be used for the supports on this. Is it 2x4s, 4x4s, 6x6s? He describes the roof here as, the OBS boards with the felt paper and shingles, but evidently it's building an entire carport, roof or support assembly? Or is that already existing?
Is this y'all's?
Yes.
Okay. Is this an existing
Yeah,
structure already?
the driveway.
The driveway is there already.
I know, but I mean, the carport you're gonna build.
No, the carport's not there yet. We have a patio cover, and we're gonna hook up to the patio cover to continue the slope.
Okay.
And it's gonna go right into the part that's gonna be the deck and the driveway, and over the driveway. And,
At the end of this structure, will there be posts holding up
we're going with, those, what is it, 6 inches?
6x6 posts?
4 by 6?
4x6 posts? Okay.
And it's that green over gray is that we're gonna paint it the same way as the house, and the shingles should match the roof.
We need for you to list on here on the materials that you're gonna use 4x6 posts. And are you gonna use like 2x6 Raptors or 2x4 or? You know what size the roof part of it's gonna be?
It's probably it's not gonna be 2 by 4s. It's probably gonna be 2 by 6s.
Okay, we need for you to list that on your permit here, please. The materials that the size that you're gonna be using. Can you do that for us?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, we need to know
Okay.
that it's gonna be wood, not metal, and it's gonna be,
There's no metal.
well, but that's something that needs to be on the application. Yes.
Could we also get a signature on the application?
We're going, yeah, he's going to. Janelle's gonna write, okay, you're using 4x6 posts and 2x6 rafters. And the decking's OSB board, is that, okay? And she's noted on your application, if you'll just initial it right there, that,
Okay, and then we get you go ahead. Remember signature, but Martina's done. Thank you, Mr. Evans.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, permit is granted. You can pick your permit up about noon or before noon.
Okay.
And be sure and display it when you start working there, okay?
Will I get a copy of the?
They'll give you a copy, yes.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, next application. Is, John
Roseski.
Roseski, okay?
Oh,
15.
it's been pronounced worse than that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
Has nothing to do with your permit.
I wish
Oh, no.
and
No, no.
ask the board to please renew the permit that was already existed. The problem had been my health and finding more problems as I discover them.
Okay, was your
the
permit, was your permit
permit-
approved in November?
I believe the permit was approved. This architectural problem that I discovered
What
is
was your
the
problem?
permission was to use existing studs and posts.
And you found, when you got it.
And I
you
found
what?
that the existing studs and posts are not stable. So the ones on the left side of the carport have been dry rotted, where they were installed on such an application. A rod was put in and cement was concreted around it. After reviewing some pictures I found in my grandmother's house of what the trailer looked like on day one, there's also a post that is missing that has to be reinstalled. I have the timber, I have the lumber, I have everything to comply to original day one standards. The problem is, as you drive by it, you can see right for yourself. It's tilted because of the ants underneath or whatever termite may have.
You're gonna replace all that?
That has to be replaced
Okay.
properly, and that requires, before I start pouring concrete down a hole and that close to the sewer and every other utility line, I must have a test dig approval. So I have to reinstall,
Okay.
just put down a new layer right there and put in new posts, and I'm reevaluating everything, and that's why it looks so ugly right now, because the first advice I got was put up a stabilizing scaffold. So that's why that post is up there.
You are having the house treated for termites before you extend all of this, do all this work.
But that was the first thing I did, my lady, when I arrived,
Was it 334?
was remove all of the termite board.
She gonna go get it.
Okay,
So this is what's happened underneath the house by ants.
okay.
Modification to it.
She's gone to get your.
She's gonna go get a
original
copy of the original permit, and she'll bring it back here in just a minute.
Yeah. I just want to make sure, the original permit says replace these posts using existing
Well,
stabilizers. That existing stabilizer is not safe.
you're just gonna replace them with the existing like materials?
Exactly, yes, sir.
Okay.
The ones in the center are fine. The one on the side that's tilting are just buried into the dirt
Okay.
ground. That needs a better stabilization process.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Janelle went to get a copy of the original permit. She'll kinda have an idea of what we approved before. By the way, how do you pronounce your last name?
I've been
Oh,
called
how do you-
several different ways.
How do you
How
pronounce
do you
it?
pronounce it?
Rossetti.
Rosetti, okay, good. I'm sorry I butchered it so bad.
Oh, they misspelled it in all 4 of my high school
Oh,
yearbooks.
okay.
That's not your fault.
So you yourself are doing this work and your neighbors are coming over and doing the work with you?
Correct. I'm
Okay.
hiring people and friends from the neighborhood to help do the thing, keeping the money here on the fort. That's, I'm not hiring someone from outside. This is all done in-house. The original permit said replace with existing,
Like materials.
but that existing material on that side of the house needs a test dig. I have to call them before I start just dumping things and cement down a hole, because I'm so close to so many utility lines. So I'll have to level it out. The first step, done without the approval of the architectural committee, was advice from the contractor or the person who was helping me. The first thing you do is you better put up a stabilizing scaffold. And we have that part of the roof stabilized. I have the original pictures where it used to look level. I even have pictures of the neighbor when the flood was up to his knees. Thinking, oh wow, it was that bad down here?
Yep.
Oh, who's that? That's the neighbor around the corner, but now his hair is white and not that color. So it's I'm trying to reestablish the initial.
Okay.
Is that gonna cause any issues when you raise that back up as far as the roof is concerned? When you bring it from the sagging position back up, is that gonna cause any
That's
structural issues?
That's the entire thing. As it sagged, other contractors have put in repair units, and 90% of my job right now has been repairing the crappy work that has been done before me. So there's where the roof has sagged, once was leveled when it was installed, went this way, a shim was put over here. So to raise that up level and make that all squared out again is more than just a one-day job. The materials are there, but on my original permit said using existing, I cannot use that as is.
Absolutely, understood. Okay.
I just changed the color, please.
Treated wood.
I don't need it.
I'm not seeing a problem with this without a copy of the previous permit.
I just wanna see the permit, see what we approved last time.
The approval was to use the existing stabilizers.
You didn't submit a sketch with it this time, and we're getting a copy of the sketch that's
Okay.
approved.
Thank you.
That way we have.
I want to cooperate with the board, not be adversarial.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
But to me, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so.
Yeah.
Got a few pictures of, like Tommy with flood water up to his knees. Hey, wow, that's the neighbor around the corner.
What year did it flood so bad?
What year?
87.
87 was one, that was about the worst we've had, was 87. I was here during that one.
And
25 years ago. Wow.
the one before that was.
Highway 90 had a foot of water running across the road, so you imagine.
I remember Highway 90 was closed.
Oh, yeah, I had to put a water
We
line
had
in
one
it.
later, but it was the
Unit 15?
Burger and Shake had waist deep water in it.
Oh,
Yeah, I know that. That
Oh, yeah. And then again,
it was on Saturday, Sunday,
It was
wasn't
in the nineties, we had another.
and now, back in the early nineties, sometimes then we had
Those
another.
houses that cost-
your fence coming?
Wasn't quite as bad, but.
And unit one really got it.
Oh, yeah, that was 87.
Yeah.
That's when it really got it.
Oh, yeah,
Born
we've
on the
had,
hill there by
Smile with your
Chapter
picture.
Hall.
we've had a couple of good floods here.
Oh,
Since I've been here.
It happened, well, the creeks got no, I guess it's part of that property.
Well, they had all the, at the park pool down there, they had all the, what, drainage, I guess, blocked. And people took their cars down there and within 30 minutes, barrels were floating up to the door handles.
Well, back in '87, the dump grounds for the fort used to be across the creek. And they had this low earth dam road going across it down there with a little culvert. And that thing stacked up water so bad,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
the following
it's
years
like
when
in
they
the
took
end
that out.
Underneath the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
so the cars became submarines.
Yeah, just about.
This went back to 2010.
Midland when it flooded.
We're looking at 11. Because data for the roof, no changes, same acres, making
But
it
we,
repair.
we didn't have no diagram up here. This is approved, oh,
Just something else.
okay, this,
Very
Yeah,
close.
and if the guy sitting here
this,
and says, well, he's gonna do.
Is this
he's gonna do that,
334?
he's gonna do that, or he
This is-
says, so the
what about 334?
He does something different.
Yeah, 334.
okay, this, existing permit 334 was issued and, approved in November of 2010. So it's out.
Okay.
So your old permit is expired, so you're having to apply for a new permit, okay? You have 6 months from the time the permit's issued to finish the work or ask for a renewal for another 6 months, which you didn't either, so this will be a new permit application. I'd like to see, I understand what he's wanting to do, but I'd like to see, schematic of how your trailer sets on your lot and this carport, how it's attached. Could you,
I ran out, please accept my apologies to the board. My printer ink ran out. Or else I would have had 1,000 pictures
Well-
here for what it used to look like 30 years ago to today is another thing,
I
so.
just wanna know what it looks like today, and
Please.
as part of our permit application, you need to submit a drawing, a plan.
Uh-huh.
And so at this time, we can't approve this until we have that schematic.
I thoroughly understand and agree with that.
Okay?
The permit, and as I'm learning here under the new laws of a homeowner association, what has to be done.
If you could,
I found a post that has been removed and missing that I saw in a photograph 30 years ago.
okay, if you'll do that and submit it again, we're gonna table this for this week. If you'll submit it this week, we'll take it up next week, okay?
What is the permit number 664?
I
That
don't
was the
know.
original permit.
No,
One,
The other one was just to replace the panels that were pitted by the hail and
Is that all?
He installed a sign.
no.
yeah, that happens all the time, and then paint it white.
And some of this repair work on some of the skirting. That's what that one was.
Do I have a motion to table this till he gets us a schematic so we know what we're looking at?
And the material list.
And material list, yes.
yes, I so move.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, if you'll bring us that schematic for next week, we'll take it up again.
Thank you.
And material list to go with it, you know.
Everything requires, the first step is the dig test.
No, that's fine, whatever it takes. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I don't know, this is one that's kind of suspicious.
It
Okay.
really is. If you want
Next
to know how
application.
this happened, it really is a real suspicious.
Yeah. I
Edward
really
Dillon,
wrote it
Unit
down.
27, Block O, Lot 22, extending the deck. Is that yours, Barbara?
Mm-hmm.
Where's your schematic?
Yeah, where's your material at?
Where's your material list?
Oh my goodness. Well, Ed
You're on the
turned this
committee.
in. It's, treated lumber. Present deck is 18 feet by 10, and we're extending the deck 6 feet further horizontally with treated,
I understand.
treated wood.
It's gonna be the same
What
as
kind
the
of,
existing deck.
what kind of wood? 4x4s, 4x6s, 2x6s? And your
2 by,
schematic?
2 by 6.
Where's your lot plan, your house plan, and your porch, and the extension you're gonna put on it? That
Yeah.
one you got there on the back is not sufficient, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, well, then we'll table it and I'll go home and shut down Fernando, okay?
Okay. Do I have a motion to table this till this week?
Make a motion. to
Okay,
table.
second?
Okay, then we're
Okay,
through.
all in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome, I didn't do it, I did.
Alright. Okay, Miss Board Representative.
Well,
Well,
we had a board meeting, that's a deep subject for shallow mind. I've heard that before. Board meeting Saturday, and I guess the main issue that everybody was concerned about was the KOA thing. We took action to rescind the agreement, whatever with KOA.
Dead in the water?
In the water.
Okay.
Ballots will be going out, I think it's the 9th of February.
I think the 10th, because they're stepping up.
Okay, is it the 10th, okay. Eight candidates for 4 positions. So, there's one proposition to be placed before the membership for a vote. It's taking $1 from the impound fund and placing it into to be designated or earmarked for preservation of historic buildings within the historic district, association of buildings within the historic district. And there was another proposition that was on there for their consideration, and that was to increase the board members from 5 to 7. And that there was not a second to that vote, so that won't be on the. And a letter had gone out to, last month, who the letter went to.
Oh. What else, repairing the cars, is that the one?
One was repair on the
The horse
vehicle,
trailer.
Yeah.
horse trailer, and
The horse trailer's gone, I think.
No, it's
this is still there?
Okay, well, I do know a letter had been sent on the horse trailer.
I better clean my eyeglasses when I look at it.
And I guess that's it.
Neil, what about Mickey Hubert?
Steady busy. I still don't have information on that, but I'll do my best to have it next week.
They still haven't met with Mud, huh?
No,
No. Probably won't happen quick. I have a question though. Back some time ago, we talked about people having a contractor in and doing work in their house and the material being taken away from the job and not put out on the curb for us to pick up beneath the fort without some sort of payment coming from the homeowner if they want us to do it. And I'm seeing more and more of it around. There's one I just passed this morning on the way in. There was another one that was on Fort Clark Road. Big hunks of concrete and stuff. It's gone because Fort picked it up. But I was just wondering whether our stance is still the same or not.
yes, what we run into oftentimes when if someone has had someone in their house doing, say, interior work, for instance, and we challenge them about it, that if the contractor's responsible for hauling off their own debris, then they would come back and say, well, I was the contractor, I'm the one that did, I'm the one that did the work.
So we still should follow it up.
We'll haul it off.
And-
Still their responsibility though, on that issue,
No, the member is saying that they did the work themselves. So it's been an ongoing issue for.
But wouldn't that make them their own contractor,
Yeah.
and therefore responsible
They're
to
still
take the material away?
responsible for moving the material.
That's what I would say.
Well, the rule's always been though, that if you do your own work, the port will haul your junk away.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, but it's.
But that's what
we
we've
can't
talked
afford to do
about.
that.
Bob, what's it cost us every time a container goes out of here?
$1,400.
$1,400 every time this stuff's put in one of these containers that
Mm-hmm.
they haul
Right, and that's why I brought it up.
on. And they, what, you get about one a month or more?
Oh, more than that,
More than that?
2 or 3.
So I think it's, the board has to do something, I would think, of passing a new rule or whatever, that if you're gonna put your stuff out there, you're gonna have to pay for having it hauled, for it hauling it off. I mean, something that's fair and equitable in my opinion, but
Well, it needs to be equally
for everybody.
enforced among all.
Yes.
Because I had to pay to get mine picked up.
Well, I'm getting ready to take some stuff out of my house, and if I gotta pay for it, I wanna know now so I can,
If some are getting it done for nothing and some are having to pay for it,
Right.
that's not right either.
No, that's true. I
I
agree.
thought we had discussed that before on this committee, and
We
that,
had.
per cubic foot or whatever, that was gonna be, a rate charge to one and all. if the
Yeah,
Ford
but
had
was that
fallen
ever
off.
set by the board as a policy?
I don't know, did it go to the board?
No,
What a-
I think it's been briefly discussed at the board, but no action was ever taken.
Right.
What about a question of,
It's quite
there's
expensive.
a list someplace that says on Monday is
Mhm.
trash, Tuesdays, and so on and so
I
forth. And I thought I saw someplace where it said Thursday or Friday, contract the material.
Thursday's supposed to be cardboard type material.
Yeah, but I think there was one, Friday, I think, I saw it someplace, and I can't tell you where I saw it now, but it said something
You familiar
about
with it, Bob?
the contract the material also.
I'd
Not
have
like
Is
a
there-
miscellaneous type of day,
I'd
you know?
have to look at that, I'd have to look at that.
Yeah.
Is there a list somewhere that you got your day set up on what you pick up?
Oh, yeah, they got that covered.
It's up here on the board up here?
The other thing would be,
Office up there's got it, I don't know where they keep it.
Okay, the office got it?
would incorporating a fee into the permit suffice?
No.
Cause you don't know how
No.
much is gonna be.
'Cause you don't have no idea how
is gonna
much-
be out there.
Material's gonna come out of the house or off of the house or tree limbs.
This is the list you're talking about, right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's, Wednesday, cactus grass and all that. Plastic containers, brush on another day, drywall,
When I'm,
insulation from construction, that's Ricky, sorry. Then cardboard boxes empties on Thursday. And then going way down a little bit further, it says about the white goods. And then if you have any other items for disposal that are not listed, please call Bob.
well, the only thing I can see on there possibly that maybe the board should pick up is brush. Because you take in front of my house right now, all those trees in front of my house are on greenbelt area, they're not mine. So when I trim them back, I figure the board ought to be willing to haul it off after I've trimmed it, you know what I mean? Now, the other stuff, yeah, I think the homeowners ought to have to pay.
Well, when the electric company comes out and trims for lines, they just leave it there on the ground. And, the port pays for that also.
It's not on a roadway or something.
No, that's usually in the alleys.
That's an
But
easement.
that's recycled, what I would say is considered recyclable material, right?
What?
Lumber, not lumber, wood, tree limbs, brush.
Cheaper.
Well, I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about brush and tree limbs.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that's, would be considered
Well,
recyclable.
they're gonna be recycling it now, going to compost piles down here. That's part of the new.
One request, if I can be cooperative, not adversarial. As I walk my dogs and I'm practicing my physical therapy, learning how to walk again, I keep my eyes down to see where I walk. With all due respect, Bob, your guys need a metal picker-upper. because as these things are picked up off the side of the road, I have collected about 30 pounds of nails and screws and stuff off of just Unit 15 in the year I've been here. That would have been a hole in someone's tire or golf cart.
Okay, he's here, he'll see what he can do about it, okay?
Yeah, and God bless you, you do.
Thank you, John. Yes.
You know, I think if there's a program started to charge people for this, what we're gonna see is an influx of debris dumped back in the back here. Because we've experienced that in the past anyway, with it being free, they still dump back here, so. It's like the
I
people
understand.
who people dump their home trash out here at these roadside parks.
I'm just doing this.
So,
Anyway, okay, anything else that, do you have anything else for us, Bob?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question? And please go back to my permit, and
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
a beautiful drawing here. If you can see where he put extending deck,
Yes, ma'am.
existing deck, okay. This little section that he put over here, coming out this way, is 4x4 treated post. There's 3 of them in the ground, and the lumber is all being replaced on the whole deck, and it's treated lumber, and it's 2 by, or 1.5 by 4.
But just don't,
Regular decking material.
Regular decking material.
Well, and treated, yeah.
but you look at this little picture here, and it don't show nothing about the extension or the size.
Well, does
need-
it does right there. It's just Ed's had cataract surgery, and he thinks everybody can see it.
Well,
You know, so, okay, so I have to go home and shut Fernando down, and he can't come back until,
why has he
Next
started
week.
without the permit?
why? Because last week I go home after the architectural meeting, and I'm standing in my living room, and I look up, and my contractor's taking my deck apart, and I don't have a permit, so that's why.
Should've
We did shut him down for, 5 days, I think, we stopped him, so.
Yes, you should.
We did. Okay, so I do it again. He can go to breakfast.
Okay, anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to bring up a question, that if there's something we can do with our permit, when we issue a permit, that on the bottom of the permit or a part of the application of the permit or something that releases the architectural committee from liability for construction methods that are used, because there's no inspections done and there's no requirement to indicate that anything meet any particular code. If something happens to a structure that we've authorized to be built, and it falls down, and somebody's hurt, or one of these carports blows over and damages somebody else's house.
How
If
is
the
that our,
person, well, if the person that owns that carport doesn't have the funds to repair your house, who are you gonna go to next? You're gonna go to the person that
you have the permit?
issued the permit, right. That's the reason codes are done in Texas and required by legislative law. And we're not following any of it.
Okay, something we can talk, I wasn't aware of that, but, we're just giving them,
In 2000, the legislation required that all counties adopt the 2000 residential code. Building
has
code.
the board adopted that code?
I think the Ford has adopted it. Or Kenny County, whether the Ford has or not, Kenny County has.
Kenny County, well, if they have, then we should too, but,
Don't have an inspector.
City doesn't have anybody that.
The
The
city
city
doesn't
has-
have an
They've
inspector?
hired one, haven't they?
no.
Who?
I don't know who.
Oh,
I
they
just
say-
read in
oh,
the
not in the
paper that
county?
they were hiring an inspector.
I think David's supposed to be inspector, but,
Don't you need about 5? I mean, you'd have to have an electrical inspector, a
Oh,
parking
no, they have
inspector.
multi-
No,
that now.
okay, no.
They have multi-hat, just one,
Yeah.
one individual, as long as he can get certified in all of it.
Okay, either way.
and a couple of times over the years, the Ford has had building inspectors, hired certified building inspectors that were retired from San Antonio and various places that worked several years here until they either retired again or whatever.
We had somebody that was gonna come on board last fall, remember?
We had somebody that was interested in it, but there was, I think Ron said that there was a problem with, it's just like myself, I was a building inspector, building official. Once you leave a municipality, your certifications expire. You must be sponsored by a municipality to regain those certifications. And the fort's not a municipality.
No.
And it's doubtful that Brackettville would support it for them to do inspection somewhere else.
Well, technically, I don't think Braggarville's a municipality anymore, it's a Colonia.
Yeah.
Brackettville's still a municipality.
Well, why did they declare themselves Colonia so they can get
Well, no, there's
federal
parts,
funding?
they're trying to get some, I think. They're
Oh,
trying
no, I
to get
think
some
it was-
colonious,
Well, anyway,
funding
Neither here
for
nor
some
there.
of the outlying,
I
like
understand.
Leona Ranch and some of those places that were sold before that. That's something that the fort needs to look at,
I
because
know.
some of the stuff was done prior to the passage of that law. We are a gated community, we're a homeowners association with an architectural committee. We ought to be allowed to sell those lots out there because we don't allow anybody to build on them anyway.
Right.
Doesn't have to have a state law to say that they can.
But you fall under that, we fall under that Colonias Act.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but there's,
We can't.
the state representative needs to look at the fact that this fort was developed in '71, prior to that law. We are a homeowners association with a board of directors and an architectural committee that issues permits. So somebody came in and wanted to put a place on one of those lots out there, they can't because we won't issue the permit.
Right.
So the legislation needs to look at things like that and allow, as for memberships. I mean, it used to be that you could buy one of those lots out there, and then if you decided to retire, you could swap that lot for one that you could build on. And then you have 6 months to build a home on it. It should still be the same way.
I'll try to take that.
'Cause it's
I'll try to take
controlled.
that up this afternoon since I don't have anything else to do.
We would appreciate it, Janelle.
No, but the other thing that the other question.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, and the other question that I had was the trailers and then the horse trailer and the stuff would be, there's a very large trailer parked out on the side in the RV park. Are they paying rent for that, or is that one that, why is it not in the
In
storage lot?
storage?
Why is it not in the storage lot, it's just sitting in the RV park over there? We
I don't know, I'll
Yeah.
find out.
got them all over the fort that are out places like that, and we're trying to do something. But we do need to look at that liability issue,
Yes.
because it could come back to the deepest pocket.
Don't believe me.
Yeah, they'd be hurting here, wouldn't they?
Wouldn't, I'm telling you.
Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? I entertain a motion for adjournment. Second? All in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned.